Today we're going to discuss distributed antenna systems, or DAS. We've all had an experience where we've been inside a building trying to make a phone call, send a text message, or send an important work email, and we're unable to because our signal is dropped or too weak to do so. Most of us don't think about how that technology works. And a lot of times we think if we just go outside or if we move to a different part of the building, we're going to have better service. Now, the true case is that distributed antenna systems can help manage this problem. The reason why is because most buildings are now reflecting radio frequency, which is actually what we're referring to when we talk about signal strength for our cellular devices. Now, radio frequency for our cell phones is transmitted from a main radio site somewhere outside, usually on a hilltop or a mountain. Then, that signal is transmitted to our cell phones so that we can make our phone calls and send text messages. However, with the way that buildings are being built these days, with low energy glass and more energy efficient materials, they are also reflecting that same radio frequency from entering the building and getting to our cellular devices. The way that a distributed antenna system works is by putting a donor antenna on top of the roof of the building, which will pull in the frequency from the main radio site, and it will distribute that frequency throughout the building through each antenna on each floor that needs coverage. So simply put, we're putting mini radio sites inside a building, throughout the floors and throughout the rooms, in order to provide that radio frequency and cell phone signal. On a bigger scale, public safety is deeply impacted by the lack of radio frequency making it inside of buildings today. And the way that we can fix that is by also including a distributed antenna system for this purpose inside buildings. Now, the way that public safety is impacted is by first responders who are trying to use their radio during an emergency or a crisis, and they are unable to communicate with one another or with external resources in order to do so. By incorporating distributed antenna systems throughout these new buildings, we are also allowing our first responders to communicate and protect us on a daily basis. This is becoming more important every day in cities across America because it is now being adopted into the International Fire Code and the National Fire Protection Agency, which will eventually be adopted in every city in America. Now, this became an important part of the way that we build buildings right after 9/11, when first responders were no longer able to communicate in the large buildings that we've been constructing. Distributed antenna systems have been created in order to resolve this problem.